habits that improve my language learning. And I hope that this video actually gives you some value because, at least to me, these tips have improved my language learning a lot. But before that, if you're kind of interested on exactly the step on a step process of how I got into shape or how I learn languages, then I recommend you to look at the description. Why you should listen to me? I have almost 3 years of acquiring English and 4 to 5 months of acquiring Japanese as well. I think that I don't have to explain you that I have 3 years of acquiring English because I literally am speaking to you in English. But for Japanese, it's not the case. So I actually read through this entire book called A Guide to Japanese Grammar to actually get a pretty good, decent level to start immersing myself in more content of the Japanese language. And there are things like my annotations of the book, which I did through a program which is called Anki, and I took a screenshots and as you can see, they are from May, they are from June, which they are pretty recent. I don't have annotations from like 4 months or 5 months ago, but you have to believe me there, like they are recent. These things are recent, so I think that you can believe me just with that. The first tip, and the first tip only on of the only two tips that I will give you is to please look up words whenever you get a sense of the meaning. Like, what do I mean by this? For example, when you're immersing yourself and you're actually making videos, you're well making videos. No, you're actually watching videos. You're actually watching series, movies, things like that, and you know that you get sometimes you don't know a word, but through all the words that you know on that sentence, you get the sense of the meaning of the word that you don't know. This is actually the pretty. This is actually the comprehensive input. This is how it works. But the thing about this is that when you get the sense of the meaning and you don't look up the word, you don't like put it on your mind, like you just get the sense and it's there. Like after some days, if you don't see the word again, you will like forget it pretty quickly. This is not the case when you look up words in dictionaries, which is the next point. There's bilingual dictionaries and monolingual dictionaries. Bilingual dictionaries have two languages, which is why it's named that way. B means two, and lingual means language, so two languages. And that's actually the one that you will be using when you are a beginner. When you are intermediate level or you are an advanced level, you will be using monolingual dictionaries, which are, of course, of just one language, which is your target language. That's why the name mono means one and lingual language, one language dictionaries. That's why it's called that way. And you will actually, when you get the sense of the meaning, this is the most fun part. When you get the sense of the meaning, you will actually put an star on a paper. Like when you get the sense of the meaning through looking it up in a monolingual or a bilingual dictionary, you will put that star on a paper. And when you do this, you will notice that you get a lot of meanings right. Like if you're pretty advanced, you will get a lot of meanings right because that's what it is. You understand most things you understand, so you will get lots of meaning right. And you will notice that you have a lot of papers with stars here. Like you will notice like you have 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 papers, maybe depending on how much you do it. And you will notice through all the months that you will have 10, 20 papers like full of stars, and that will actually will improve your confidence because there's literally a proof or you doing the thing, you know. And actually there can, if you share it with other people, there can be some social benefits to it. Why? Well, they will actually ask you, well, what's the meaning of this? Like, what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of this paper? Why it's full of stars or things like that? And actually, why won't you do it if it will improve your motivation, if it will if it will make you more confident because you have more proof, and actually it kind of can improve your social life as well. So yeah, please look up words whenever you get a sense of the meaning in a bilingual dictionary if you're a beginner, or in a monolingual dictionary, the same as your target language if you are an intermediate or an advanced in your target language, of course. The second tip is just to read out loud. You can concentrate a lot more when you read out loud. You also practice speaking, listening, and reading skills. The only downside, well, there's actually the two downsides, but the only most notable is that you can't read as fast as when you read on your mind. That's actually pretty good, a pretty bad downside. But I will say that there's also another downside, which is if you're reading out loud when you are a beginner and you don't have much listening skills, you will actually worsen all of the benefits that reading out loud uh, uh, gives you. For example, you can concentrate a lot more. Well, you will not concentrate because you actually are trying to concentrate on just speaking the words, so you will not concentrate. There's also things like listening skills, if because for example they will worsen because you will actually be hearing your words that are mispronounced, so it will actually worsen your like listening skills, and you will not read because you are not even concentrating on understanding the context of the book because you are not speaking well and you're actually worsening your listening, and you are not even concentrated on the book because you are not even speaking well. So please read if you are an intermediate level, or please read that if you are an advanced level. But the good thing, of course, is that if you are intermediate or advanced, you will concentrate a lot more because you can understand almost a lot of the word and a lot of the words. And if you are if you are speaking out loud, of course, your speaking will improve eventually. Like that. If you just do this for um 30 minutes a day or 1 hour a day for a year, probably your speaking skills will actually improve like dramatically, as well as the listening skills and reading skills. Why listening? Well, you can actually be asking this, like, because if I'm reading, I'm not listening to anything. Well, first, if you are speaking out loud, then uh, and you have a pretty good listening skill, then your listening is going to improve because you are actually hearing yourself. And reading skills, well, because you are actually reading, there's nothing to say about that. The only downside, like really, the only objective downside is that you can read as fast as when you read on your mind, and it's a pretty bad downside. Why? Well, because when you read fast, you actually can get a lot more vocabulary when reading, and that vocabulary you can then use it on immersing on other things like videos or series, which can actually be more fun. So yeah, when I will recommend you to read out loud or to read on your mind, well, for example, on the morning, which is mostly when you have more energy, just read on your mind because reading on your mind requires more concentration and it's more annoying to do. And when, for example, you are in the evening or you are in the afternoon and you're kind of tired, you just took lunch and you are kind of full, you don't want to do anything. Well, just read out loud. You will notice that you can concentrate a lot more, and you will actually practice speaking, listening, and reading skills. So yeah, just read out loud when you are on the afternoon, pretty tired, like you just took lunch, and just read on your mind when you have more energy. That's the thing that I will do. So yeah, that's about it, and I hope that this actually brought you some value. Thank you, man.